I'm Paul Edwards, author of the Mourner's Woods books, and first and foremost, a monster kid. Tonight I'm reading Movie Monsters from 1975. Oh, yeah. If you're anywhere near my age, this will bring back memories for you. This is a book that introduced kids to not only the classic movie monsters, but how to do versions of their makeup at home and even put on your own monster show. I thought you might enjoy flipping through this vintage collectible with me, and together we can see what kinds of monster kid goodness is in here. Movie Monsters. Monster makeup and monster shows to put on by Alan Ormsby. This book is from 1975. This was from the heart of the second wave of monster kids, which I was part of. I would have been 10 years old when this came out. And I got it at the time that it came out, as evidenced by the fact that I have a Gallifrey Diplomatic Service book plate in here. So, from Scholastic. Scholastic was really up on the renewed interest in monsters in the 1970s. Scholastic put out tons of monster-themed books for kids. And the school book fair was a lot of fun because there would always be a good supply of new monster materials in there. Okay. So here's what we're going to get. It's a ghoulery of monster greats. Sounds like something Forrest J. Ackerman would write, doesn't it? But it's not. Well, remember, they're introducing kids to some of these monsters for the first time. So they're starting good. Lon Chaney, Man of a Thousand Faces. The Phantom of the Opera. The Wolf Man. The Frankenstein Monster. The Mummy. King Kong. 2 Draculas. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The Bride of Frankenstein. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Blackula. And Young Frankenstein, which at the time this came out in 1975, Blackula and Young Frankenstein were new, especially Young Frankenstein. That had only just come out a few months before this. So, Lon Chaney. Oh, look at that collage. I love it. Oh, and there's this famous makeup kit. There was a myth that when Lon Chaney Sr. died, when he was on his deathbed, he passed his famous elaborate makeup kit to his son, Lon Chaney Jr., Creighton Chaney, really. Sadly, that's not true. That did not happen. But it was a myth that prevailed for a long time. Phantom of the Opera, and it tells you the story of the monster. The Wolf Man, Lon Jr., The Frankenstein Monster. Yep. Get a good piece on the Frankenstein Monster. The Mummy. Now, are they just going to give us the Imhotep mummy, or are they going to give us Karis too? Nope, just Imhotep. Okay. King Kong. Two Draculas, of course, Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is actually interesting in terms of how they did this trick photography back in the 1931 Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. What happened was this. Of course, the film is in black and white, but they painted makeup of a certain color on Frederick March's face. And then they slowly, over time, like over the course of maybe 30 seconds or so, they would change the lighting on stage so that the colored makeup, which once blended in and you didn't see it all, now stood out and made the face look deformed. And then they added in, you know, obviously they had a wig and some scary teeth, but that was basically how they did the transformation from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde in the 1931 Oscar-winning Frederick March version. He was amazing. Okay, Bride of Frankenstein. Obviously, Elsa Lanchester. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Kind of ruins the illusion when you show that it's just a dude in a costume. You know, Riku Browning was the last actor surviving to have played a Universal monster back in the Universal Pictures days. He survived into the 21st century. Blackula. Blackula was a black exploitation film. In the early 70s, there was this subgenre of movies called blaxploitation, for black exploitation. And they were genre films with, you know, primarily African-American cast, or often an all African-American cast. So that's where we got Blackula from. There was also Blackenstein, but his movie was not so good. Blackula was the boss. He was great. And of course, Young Frankenstein. Okay, how to make a monster. Recipes and makeup for warts, blood, scars, melting mans and mummy hands, Dracula, Blackula, Countess Dracula. Can I read them all? Let's just take a look. How I Became a Monster. The author as a vampire at age 12. Okay, he's talking about when he grew up, the experiences he had playing monster and doing makeup effects. Explaining to kids how light and shadow make monstrous faces. Costumes, okay. Before you make a monster, see, if only the Dr. Frankensteins of this world had read, before you make a monster, you know, read the warning labels. You know what you're going to get. A recipe for blood. Red poster paint. Red, yellow, and blue food color. Corn syrup. Okay. Dracula's makeup. And it tells you everything that you need. See, it lists the ingredients for you. Tells you how to apply them. Blackula. Countess Dracula, because girls get to be monster kids too. I don't think they realized how androcentric they were with the monsters, so it's good that they have some for female monster fans here. The Phantom's makeup. Mummy hands. Use loose-fitting plastic or rubber gloves. I get it. And then you put things on there. Melting man's hands. Oh, man. Wolfman's hands. Wolfman's makeup. Of course, the first thing they have is false hair. You can use crepe hair, yarn, or an old wig to match your own hair color. Eyeshadow, poster paint, eyebrow pencil. Okay. All right. Okay. Kids can do that. I can see that. A skull face. A brown bag Frankenstein. I did this. I actually did this when I was a little kid. Brace yourself. Yup. You do the squared Frankenstein head by using like these bags used to be given out at the grocery store with your groceries. Your groceries would be put in a brown paper bag that was pretty thick material. And so yeah, once you got a grocery bag home, you turn it upside down and use it to make the square head of your Frankenstein monster mask. I did that. I'm not saying it came out as good as this kid's. But I did do it. Go, Frankie. And now you can put on a monster show with all the monster costumes and makeup that you've got. The Monster of Frankenstein. Oh, look at this. It's a whole script for a play that kids can put on. See? It's a whole script. Wow. You can do the Jekyll and Hyde transformation. You're pretty advanced here. That's kind of ambitious. You were going to do the Jekyll and Hyde transformation with the different colored lights. That's pretty good. How to turn from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde before their very eyes. And this is the transformation trick. Yep. Red. Red is the color they used. The disappearing ghost. Oh, man. The floating head. It's getting scarier. Hang on 1 second. The dummy gets up and chases its own head after the head floats away. Wow. Props. Music, live sound effects, lightning. These are pretty good because this is, you know, it tells the kids a little about the monsters, but then they're not just sitting watching the movies. Although, if you're watching a video like this, I'm sure you and I both have done our share of sitting watching movies. But they're actually encouraging kids to do something creative, to create their own costumes and put on their own plays. That's good. I like that. Supplies and sources. Hardware stores, supermarkets, toy stores. I remember, now that I'm reading hardware stores, I remember buying brackets. Little metal brackets, L-shaped brackets for my Frankenstein monster bag head mask. Horror secrets of great movie monsters revealed. How to act like a monster. I don't know, man. A lot of kids already know how to act like a monster. It's a whole fantastic creep of monster tips, straight from a master of horrifying monster movies. That's it, my friends. Movie monsters. Straight from the heart of the second wave of monster kids. If you enjoy classic monsters and vintage horror, look into my book series, the Mourner's Woods books. I'm self-published on Amazon. My novels all take place in a haunted forest. It's a completely new cast of characters in each book, different monsters in each book. I've got a swamp monster one, a zombie one. I've got a cult one. I've got monster versus monster one. I've got a giant spider one. I'll post a link to my books in the description for this video. Thanks for spending some time looking through movie monsters with me. This was great. I'll see you in Mourner's Woods.